Caitlin Brown, let's thank God, here on 100.1 Moose FM. I'm lucky enough this afternoon to have not just a host of a show joining me, the host of an amazing show, and he's virtual. I don't get a lot of virtual interviews, Cody, so thanks for dropping by virtually with me, man. His name is Cody Robbins. Cody is, you know what, we'll get into your show in just a little bit. First, I want to talk about a fella named Shane Pallister. He's from here in the North Peace. Cody, tell me a bit about him.
Shane Pallister is a great dude. I met him in the hunting world. He's a hunting guide. He's very passionate about sheep hunting. He's traveled all over the world with his guiding, and he came into my life actually guiding on a particular hunt. We got to know each other, and then through that, we've done some personal hunting together, and he's become a great friend.
Now, when you say you met him in your world, tell us a bit about your world and what it is you do.
I have a hunting television show with my wife, Kelsey. It's called Live2Hunt with Cody and Kelsey. It's focused on Sunday evenings at 7:30 on the Outdoor Channel down in the United States, but it also airs on Sportsman's Channel Canada here in Canada on Sunday evenings as well.
I know the show very well. I not the show, sorry, the channel. I know it very well. I grew up with it. My father, his father, everybody big hunters. I'm from Newfoundland. I mean, if it walks, you could pretty well shoot it and eat it out there. So tell me a bit about how the show and Shane have worked together in the past and why we're hoping to work together now.
Okay, so Shane was a hunting guide in my life, an acquaintance, someone that I kept in touch with. And I was hunting, we'll go back 5 years. I was hunting a giant buck that's become a famous story in the hunting world. It was called the Sleepy Story. I was after this giant deer, and I was talking to Shane on the phone one night, just having a visit with a fellow hunter. And I told him that I couldn't find this particular buck, and I was stressed right out. Now, Shane lives in Fort St. John. I live in Delisle, Saskatchewan. Shaner told me, he said he would be at my house the next night at sundown to help me find this buck that I couldn't find. Just, he didn't owe me anything, just a fellow hunter with a huge heart.
Yeah.
And he showed up at my house, he lived in my basement, and he spent that entire mule deer season helping me try to find this particular buck. And the people in the hunting world will recognize this deer. It was a deer I called Sleepy. And it's maybe the most famous hunting story that's ever been. And Shane was a big part of that. He gave a huge portion of his time that one year. I think he was here for 3 weeks or so. And it's really funny. I remember halfway through, he said, "Code, I'm really sorry, but I got to head home. I can't stay here any longer. I can't find this buck with you because I have things going on in my own life." He drove halfway home to Fort St. John. He called me and he said, "I can't do it. I can't leave you stranded. I'm coming back." And he drove all the way back, and he spent the rest of that season with me looking for that buck.
That is a true sportsman right there, is I cannot give up the hunt. I will not give up the hunt, turn around and recommit. Good for him.
He's a good dude, a great friend. And I realized that in that moment, that this guy is somebody that's selfless. He's got a huge heart. And I felt like I hoped at some point in my life I could return some type of favor to my pal Shane.
Now let's talk about your pal Shane, because unfortunately some sad news in his world, but we're going to try to make it as good as we can.
Yes, we are. Now, Shaner has had a huge history with cancer. I know it's a terrible word. He was born with nerve cancer right out of the gate. He got a whole bunch of treatment as a little tiny baby, which caused damage to his spine. At 3.5, the cancer returned. He got treatments again at 3.5. Those treatments when he was born and at 3.5 caused spinal damage. And at 15 years old, he had surgery on his spine, and he actually was in the hospital for a year and in a body cast for 8 months beyond that. And now Shaner's, around 50 years old. He looks like he's 75, but he's I think he's around 50 or 55. But he's just been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer again. And he's dealt with cancer far more than any person or any family ever should. And I've been talking to him on the phone, just being a friend and being there for him. And he's told me that he's looking to go some medical directions to try and help his situation. And financially, it's out of reach for him. Just brainstorming in my head for a buddy, I thought, you know what? I travel all over the world, going on stage, talking to people, telling funny hunting stories or dramatic hunting stories. Why don't we put together a dinner theater in Shaner's hometown where I can tell Shane's story. I can tell a bunch of fun hunting stories, make people laugh, make people cry, but we can raise money for a really good cause for a guy that has a huge heart. And that's what we've organized at the Lido Theater. And we're serving prime rib from the meat doctor. And we're just hoping to have a really great time and host a really great event in Shaner's hometown of Fort St. John.
Cody, let me ask you something to start. When is this happening at the Lido?
This is April 25th, and the doors open, I believe, at 5:30 p.m. And tickets are being sold online. We're going to have an online auction. We're going to have an auctioneer there. We're going to have silent auction at the event. And every penny that's raised is going towards Shane and his medical situation and hoping to get help to try and fix him up.
You can get your tickets right now at thelido.ca. Fort St. Johners supporting Fort St. Johners. It's what we do, right? We stick by each other in the North. We stick by each other in the hunting community. Cody, I don't want to, encroach too much on your show, but can you give us an idea? Give us another hunting story, man. What's the biggest takedown? What's the most interesting takedown?
Well, this past fall, since we're talking about the western part of Canada, Alberta, British Columbia, I was out in Alberta this year and I took a 92-year-old gentleman hunting. His name was Neil Aiken. He was from Colorado. He claimed that he was the biggest fan of Live2Hunt in history. And I took him out and we snuck up on a 205-inch mule deer buck. And those of you that know anything about hunting know that that's a very rare creature. And Neil, because he had an eye poked out in a car rollover and he had a cataract on the only eye he had left, he missed the buck twice. And on the last day of the season, last day of his hunt, we got him in close one more time. And he got another shot, but he shot a smaller buck standing right beside the big buck. He was happier than heck. Turns out I went out a week later and I got the giant buck that Neil missed twice. And it's one of the biggest deer that I've ever taken. And it's a really cool recent story that a lot of Live2Hunt fans have not seen. It's never been on the air. And I'm going to share that journey with you. That's just one little journey that I share on stage April 25th at the Lido Theater at Shane's event, and I'm excited to share that with everyone.
Cody, I cannot wait to hear more of these stories. I got a couple myself. I met the guy who took Johnny Cash out hunting for moose in Newfoundland. He's let me tell you, he's a character as well. Is there anything else that we should know about Shane, about this fundraiser? Cody, is there any details that I am missing as of right now?
I would just like to wrap it up in saying that Shane is the kind of guy that would show up for so many people in so many ways because he has a big heart. And I just hope kind of the Fort St. John community rallies behind him and shows up for him. He's a great guy. I know that like in the small amount of time I've known him in my life, he's one of those ride or die friends that you can count on. And I'm excited about the event. The food's going to be awesome. There's going to be lots of cool auction items. And I just hope and think that everyone's going to have a really great time that attends.
Cody, I can't thank you enough for sharing your stories, for sharing Shane's story, and for setting this all up. Fort St. John, we need to do what we do best. We need to show up at the Lido to support one of our own. Cody Robbins, if you want more information, Cody, give us a website or a Facebook page for your show, man.
So we have Live2Hunt with Cody and Kelsey, both on Facebook and Instagram, and we love sharing our hunting stories with people. We're ranchers. We have cattle. We have horses. And we share our lives there, and we'd love if you followed along. I truly live to share my hunting stories, and that happened or came to be when I was just a little boy. And I'm truly blessed to have the chance to share my stories on television